Hello everyone, today we are going to do the second part of this chapter, acid, bases and salts. So before getting into today's session, I'll do a quick revision of what was done in the first part. The first part we had just learnt about what are acids, what are bases, their properties, what are indicators, uses and types. What are acids? Acids are chemical substances that are sour to taste and they turn blue litmus red and they furnish hydrogen ions in their aqueous solution. Bases are substances which are bitter to taste and they are soapy to touch and they turn red litmus blue and they furnish hydroxyl ions in their aqueous solution. And we had also come across the food substances that contain acids and the type of acid present in them, like your tamarind consists of tartaric acid, your milk has got lactic acid, butter has got butyric acid, your tomatoes have got oxalic acids. These things we had done in the previous class. And indicators are substances which are used to identify whether the given substance is an acid or a base. There are three types of indicators: natural, synthetic and olfactory indicators. Turmeric was given as an example for your natural indicator. Your phenolphthalein was given as an example for synthetic indicator. Onion and vanilla were given as an example for olfactory indicators. So in today's session we will be covering up these topics: how do acids and bases react with metals, how do metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates react with acids, how do acids and bases react with each other, reaction of metallic oxides with acids and reaction of non-metallic oxides with bases. In this, most of the reactions that I have shown here will be performing in our school lab also. Let me start with the reaction of acids and bases with metals. In that, first I will talk about the reaction of acids with metals. So look at the experimental setup given in the figure. It has got a test tube, a bent tube, and we have to take some amount of zinc granules and sulfuric acid. So you have to first drop in some zinc granules and pour sulfuric acid to that. So what will happen? You will find some bubbles coming out. It's given in the figure also, see. So with the help of the bent tube, you have to collect the liberated gas, and to test whether it is hydrogen gas, you have to take a burning matchstick or a candle to the mouth of the bent tube. So it will burn with a bright light and give you a pop sound. So from this you can conclude that when zinc granules and sulfuric acid react with each other, they form the salt, that is zinc sulfate, and liberate hydrogen gas. So this is common with the reaction of metals with acids. So whenever acids and metal react with each other, they form salt and liberate hydrogen gas. Next we will see some examples of the reaction of metals with acids. I have given the reaction of hydrochloric acid with magnesium, aluminium, zinc and iron. You can see when magnesium reacts with hydrochloric acid, it forms magnesium chloride, which is a salt, and liberates hydrogen gas. Aluminium with hydrochloric acid forms aluminium chloride and liberates hydrogen gas. Zinc with hydrochloric acid forms zinc chloride and liberates hydrogen gas. Iron with hydrochloric acid forms iron chloride and liberates hydrogen gas. So whenever a metal reacts with acid, it forms the corresponding salt and liberates hydrogen gas. Next, reaction of bases with metals. The experimental setup is similar to what we had used in the previous experiment, the reaction of acids with metals. So here also we will be taking some amount of zinc granules. For base we will use sodium hydroxide. So when you add sodium hydroxide to this zinc granules, they react with each other, and here also salt and hydrogen gas is formed. The salt formed here is sodium zincate and hydrogen gas is liberated. You can test whether hydrogen gas is liberated with the help of a burning candle or a burning matchstick. But one thing you should remember, all metals will not react with bases to form salt and water. Metals like zinc, aluminium, tin, they will react with bases to form the corresponding salt and liberate hydrogen gas. Okay. Next, we are going to do the reaction of metal carbonates with acids. See, whenever metal carbonates are made to react with acid, they form the corresponding salt and they liberate carbon dioxide gas and water. Remember, when acid and bases react with metals, it forms hydrogen gas. And one more thing you should remember, all bases, they cannot react with all metals to produce the corresponding salt and hydrogen gas, right? So metals like zinc, aluminium, certain, they can react with bases to produce the corresponding salt and liberate hydrogen gas, but all metals will not produce the corresponding salt and liberate hydrogen gas when they react with bases. So when acid or a base react with a metal, it forms the corresponding salt and liberate hydrogen gas. When metal carbonates react with acid, they form the corresponding salt and they will liberate carbon dioxide gas, and the salt is formed and water is also given out. Let's look into the example. This is the experimental setup. This also we will be doing in our school lab, and here we will be taking, we need metal carbonate, so we will be taking sodium carbonate here, and to that we will be adding hydrochloric acid. So when we add hydrochloric acid to this sodium carbonate in a test tube, and you have to attach a bent tube and you have to collect the carbon dioxide gas that is getting liberated into a test tube which contains calcium hydroxide solution, that is lime water. Because in order to make you understand that carbon dioxide gas is liberated, we are using calcium hydroxide solution which is lime water, because lime water turns milky when carbon dioxide comes in contact with it, right? So we will be using calcium hydroxide solution there. So what happens here, as I told, when sodium carbonate reacts with hydrochloric acid, it forms the salt sodium chloride, liberates carbon dioxide gas and water. In the figure you can find there a test tube containing calcium hydroxide solution is held there towards the other end of the bent tube. So what happens when carbon dioxide gas is liberated, it passes through the bent tube and comes in contact with the calcium hydroxide solution, and it turns that lime water milky. When lime water turns milky, we can understand that carbon dioxide gas has come in contact with it. Okay, and one more thing you have to understand in this reaction. Here actually what happens, the metal in that carbonate displaces hydrogen from acid to form the salt, and that hydrogen in acid adds with carbonates to form carbon dioxide and water. Understood? What happens here is the metal, that is metal in that carbonate, in sodium carbonate, sodium is the metal, okay, that displaces hydrogen from hydrochloric acid to form the salt sodium chloride. Okay, so this metal has come in contact with hydrochloric acid, it displaces hydrogen and forms salt with this chlorine there to form sodium chloride, and that hydrogen combines with the carbonates of that metal to give you carbon dioxide gas and water. Clear? So another example to make you understand this better, with calcium carbonate also you can find a similar reaction taking place. Calcium chloride, carbon dioxide and water will be formed. Next we will learn how do metal hydrogen carbonates react with acids. Bicarbonates, metal hydrogen carbonates, when hydrogen carbonate we say, it is nothing but your bicarbonate. The best example that I can give you is sodium bicarbonate, what we use at home while making those spongy cakes and all, in order to ferment the food items, we use them, sodium bicarbonate, right? So here this also will be performing in the lab. Sodium bicarbonate, when it reacts with hydrochloric acid, here also it forms the corresponding salt, liberates carbon dioxide gas and water is also formed. Clear? Here also to test whether carbon dioxide gas is released, we will be using lime water, right? So when that lime water turns milky, we can say that carbon dioxide gas is produced. So metal hydrogen carbonates, that is bicarbonates, also react with acids to form the corresponding salt. They liberate carbon dioxide gas and form water. One more example I have given here, see ammonium bicarbonate, it reacts with sulfuric acid to form ammonium sulfate, liberate carbon dioxide gas and gives water also. Clear? So next is reaction of acids and bases with each other. When acids and bases react with each other, they form salt and water. This type of reaction is also called as neutralization reaction. So this neutralization we come across in our everyday life also. I have told you in many of the presentations that whenever you suffer from acidity, what happens, you have to take an antacid. This antacid consists of a base like magnesium hydroxide. So it neutralizes the effect of acid. So your stomach secretes hydrochloric acid. When that becomes excess, you suffer from this problem. In order to neutralize the effect of this acid, you take in this antacid like your Digene syrup, your Gelusil syrup and all, which contains magnesium hydroxide, to neutralize the effect, and you get relief from the problem of acidity. So I have given a few more examples here. Reaction of nitric acid, which is an acid, with base sodium hydroxide gives you sodium nitrate, which is a salt, and water. Sulfuric acid reacts with sodium hydroxide to form sodium sulfate and water. So we can conclude, when acids and bases react with each other, they form salt and water, and this type of reaction can also be called as neutralization reaction. And this neutralization reaction we can experience in our day-to-day life. Whenever an ant bites or a bee stings you, it releases formic acid and you get a burning sensation. In order to reduce that effect, to neutralize, what do? You apply a calamine lotion which contains a base in that, right? So the upcoming examples or the reactions can also be related with this neutralization reaction. So please listen carefully. Next is reaction of metallic oxides with acids. See, normally farmers use lime, that is calcium oxide, to reduce the acidic effect of soil, right? So when the acidic level of soil increases, the yield will be very poor. There won't be good quality crops, you can say. Very less yield also they'll get. So in order to reduce the effect of this acid level in the soil, they use this calcium oxide. So this calcium oxide is a metal oxide. So what is a metal oxide? Whenever a metal combines with oxygen, it forms a metallic oxide. When magnesium ribbon burns, it forms magnesium oxide. Magnesium is a metal, reacts with oxygen to form magnesium oxide, so it's called as a metallic oxide. Similarly, your calcium oxide is also a metallic oxide. When it reacts with an acid, it will form salt and water. So whenever salt and water is formed due to a reaction between acid and another substance, we can call that reaction as a neutralization reaction. And we have already learned that acid and base react with each other to produce salt and water. So here metallic oxides, you observe the examples given here: sodium oxide, magnesium oxide, copper oxide. These are all metal oxides. They react with acid to give you the corresponding salt, that is sodium oxide react with hydrochloric acid to give you sodium chloride and water. Magnesium oxide reacts with hydrochloric acid to give you magnesium chloride and water. Copper oxide reacts with hydrochloric acid to form copper chloride and water. A salt and a water is formed. One of the reactant is acid and the other reactant is obviously a base, because the reaction between acid and base only produces salt and water. So you can say metallic oxides are basic by nature. We'll see this in detail later. Okay, next, reaction of non-metallic oxides with bases. See, non-metallic oxides react with bases to form salt and water. One of the reactant is base and the other should be an acid to give you the output as salt and water, and it is an example of neutralization reaction anyway. So here all non-metallic oxide, that is your carbon dioxide is the best example for your non-metallic oxide. It reacts with a base to form calcium carbonate, which is a salt, and gives water. Sodium hydroxide reacts with carbon dioxide to form sodium carbonate, and then it gives out water. Magnesium hydroxide with carbon dioxide gives magnesium carbonate and water. So whenever a base reacts with non-metallic oxides to give you salt and water, means these non-metallic oxides should be an acid or it should be acidic in nature. Clear to you? Okay, just now I told you that metal oxides are basic in nature and non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Why is it that so? We'll just discuss now. So I have given few oxides here like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, your zinc oxide, carbon monoxide and all. So from this group I have divided them into metal oxides and non-metallic oxides. Your calcium oxide, zinc oxide and all falls under metallic oxide. Your carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide and all falls under non-metallic oxide. When these metal oxide comes in contact with water, they form the corresponding hydroxide. When non-metallic oxide comes in contact with water, they turn into acids. That is why we say metal oxides are basic in nature and non-metal oxides are acidic in nature. So with that we are coming to an end today, and till now we have learnt the reaction of acids with metals, bases with metals, reaction between acid and a base, reaction of acids with metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates, reaction of metallic oxides with acids and non-metallic oxides with bases. These things we had discussed now. And please remember these points. Metals that are placed above hydrogen in the reactivity series can displace hydrogen from their dilute acids. See, this reactivity series you will learn in the upcoming lesson, but I have given this reactivity series in one of the presentation which was done earlier. Okay, bases which are soluble in water are called as alkalis. Metallic oxides are basic by nature and non-metallic oxides are acidic by nature. And you remember one more thing, all metals will not react with bases to produce salt and water. Very few metals like zinc, aluminium, tin, they will react with bases to form the corresponding salt and water. I have attached a worksheet with this presentation. Please do that, and we'll meet you very shortly with the next part of this lesson. Till then, take care, goodbye, and keep learning. Okay.